Hey, what's going on? It's Kevin Deers. It's been a little while since I've made a video. My last one was with a band called Demon Hunter, and had them on this show, this YouTube show. I'm new to YouTube, but I'm speaking with someone who is not new to YouTube. He is a YouTube, dare I say, YouTube celebrity.
No.
He's a heavy hitter in the YouTube world, known as Fluff, also known as Brian Bruce. He's from the band called Dragged Under. And also, what's the official name of your YouTube channel?
Riffs, Beards, and Gear.
That's right. So you may recognize him from that. You may recognize him from On the Stage. I've been homies with this guy for a while. Shout out to our mutual friend Steelman.
Yeah, dude. How's Steelman doing?
I mean, I think he's doing as good as we all can be right now. Probably cooped up inside, I'm assuming, but I don't know.
I would assume so as well.
Yeah. What's up, Steelman?
Hi, Steelman. Miss you.
Yeah. So, dude, I guess I kind of just wanted to chat. Last time I had Dragged Under on the show, it was actually just Anthony. You had some stuff going on. You couldn't come into that night, but he debuted some brand new songs from what would become your album, The World Is In Your Way. So first off, how have you been, man? Obviously, the last few months have been kind of strange. How have you been staying safe, staying sane, staying active,
So the weird part about doing... So when I'm not on tour, I'm doing YouTube videos. I'm doing super nerdy guitar stuff in my home studio. And the funny part is all of my friends and family's lives have just been turned completely upside down. And mine is exactly the same as it was before. Yeah. I've just stay in the house and I crank out videos. The only difference is I get my groceries delivered now.
Okay.
Which I never did before, which is kind of... It feels very, at first it feels very aristocratic, I guess. It feels very it feels terrible. Like you're just some giant asshole, basically. But it's necessary. It's for the health of everybody. So, yeah. But other than that, honestly, it's not really changed anything as far as that side of my life goes. I mean, the band would have been on tour by now, but we've been working on some other stuff and we signed a record deal and then we're working on some other new songs and then we're starting to kind of spool up for album number 2.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you guys released the album on your own, right? Or did you release it through the label? Okay.
Yeah, it was a pretty interesting series of events. We had the demo circulated all over the place and we had a few very, very, very small labels reach out and kind of kicked some tires. And we were like, you know what, we're releasing this on our own because we wanted it out. We were, the Used were gracious enough to take us out for their US tour.
Oh, we'll get to that.
And we wanted the album out before we left for tour, basically. Yeah. So we were dead set on putting it out and we put it out on our own and the tour started in San Diego and it went basically up the West Coast over to New York, down, and basically made a big circle around the whole United States. And by the time, so we started in San Diego, by the time we got to New York, we played the Gramercy Theater. There were 12 labels in the audience to watch us.
Wow.
From word of mouth of our live show. Cause we like to have a lot of fun, jump around and kind of climb trusses and hang off stuff. And there were a lot of people there to see us, which we did not know about until afterwards. Our manager, Joey, plays guitar in the Used. And he didn't tell us until afterwards, like all these labels were there to see us. But it was pretty cool. So the tour was insane and awesome. And so by the time we came off that tour, we got our buddy Eric, who's a very, very, he's a lawyer. We had to hire a lawyer. So we share a lawyer with Five Finger Death Punch now. And, which is pretty nuts, but Eric is the best. And so we had to get a team around us to field all of these things that were coming in. And that took months. So
you didn't want to be that classic band that didn't read the contract.
Exactly. You hear
like a
these
10 record
stories,
deal,
right? Yes, you hear these horrible horror stories, and you're thinking like, why don't you just read your contract, or why don't you spend the money to? So like, we spent the money, and we had someone go over it and then fight for us,
awesome.
And in the end, we ended up signing to Mascot Records, who put out the first 3 Volbeat records.
Yes.
First couple of Gojira records. POD is still on the roster, along with Joe Bonamassa, and Blackstone Cherry, and Crowbot, and 10 Years. But Ron and company have been, dude, they're literally like the coolest dudes. That we broke down super hard, and I think. We all had too much drink in New York. It was awesome.
Nice, dude. I get promo from Mascot, so I definitely am familiar with their roster, and they also, I mean, being that they have artists like you said, they have artists like they had Volbeat. Like obviously they know how to work radio, you know. So
yes.
that's.
They're global, and a lot of people actually got like a lot of people that were upset that we didn't go to like, you know, Solid State or Epitaph, which we could have, but we didn't want to be just another band on a roster that had a bunch of bands like us. Like, we are the only band that sounds like us on Mascot. We want all the attention, so that's why it made sense for us. And they're also the coolest people, and they're so stoked. So
that's awesome. Are they based in the United States here, or are they overseas?
They have a headquarters in New York, but their main headquarters is in Italy. And then they also have one in, I think, down in the Pacific Rim somewhere. Like, they're literally just worldwide.
Cool.
Yeah, they're very.
Congratulations, man. So is the album "The World Is in Your Way"? Is that going to be like distributed through them, or are you still just handling that yourselves?
No, it is. So they basically, the record is now theirs.
Okay, cool.
And there may or may not be a new version.
Nice.
Of things that I'm not supposed to talk about, but whatever, you're the homie. No one's going to see this anyway, right?
Yeah.
No, there's going to be some cool things coming in just the next few months. Cool versions that we were never able to put out on our own, and things like that. So
back when I had Rest Repose, your prior band, prior to Dragged Under, up on Loud and Local, we were talking about how crazy it was that you guys were on the Billboard and you guys were an unsigned band, never on a label, and now it's you're taking that step. You're taking that step to be on a label. What's it feel like for you, man? It must feel pretty cool and a little bit of validation, maybe.
Yeah. It's such a weird 180 with Rest Repose. Myself and our singer, Tony, were in Rest Repose together, and everything that band ever did was 100% DIY, booking the tours, doing all the, the book stuff, the money stuff, the gear stuff, the maintenance stuff. Like, we had no help, and no one, it was just, as far as like the business side or anything like that, we had nothing. And we did so much on our own, did US tours and all this stuff. And to see how much we've learned, I don't think we would be in the place that we're at now had we not learned all we did with that band.
Okay.
And so knowing how the gears and the cog of the machine works and things, and honestly, streaming numbers do matter. We had, by the time the album was released, it had 1 million streams already from the ramping singles, and then within the first couple of months, right now it's at 4.5 million streams.
That's awesome.
Like that, which is nuts for an independent album.
Oh yeah, especially a band, someone with guitars.
Yes, exactly. We're not hip hop. We're not, we're a rock band, and it's very, very validating. It's also strange to like. I can only speak for myself and maybe a little bit Tony, but we're so used to having control over everything. And it's, for me, it's very, very nice to just let someone else deal with that crap. Like, whatever it is, getting graphics for this or logistical release stuff or, Facebook ads and pushing this and numbers. I don't care anymore. Like, let's do it. They
have a team that does that. And they're working to do, like, that's their job, right? So you can focus on the music, which is probably a relief, because we come from DIY where, like you said, you know, you're doing everything. And so the time and attention that you pay to the little things, the little stresses about, like, getting back to people in time, or, you know, sending in that design on time, or doing these little things, it might not seem like much, but they probably like kind of like build up. And all of that time is time that you're not putting in the actual, like, product, like the music and what got you there.
Even things as small, this is going to sound silly, but it was specifically mentioned to us by Mascot that our single artwork, we had the same artist, and we had a uniform aesthetic to anything we put out in public. And that communicates a brand, a uniform brand to people, which we were very, very conscious of, because we didn't do any of that stuff with Rest Repose. So it was just a conscious thing. We wanted to do it right. And if something happened, cool. And if not, that's fine. But at least we know we did it right. And pretty cool.
So Rest Repose is like the training, and then now you're just like, you're there. Okay, cool.
Very much so. Very much so.
So has your daily schedule changed at all during the pandemic, or, like you said, just pretty much the same?
Pretty much the same. Although the second the COVID thing is over or subsided, like, we've already been told, like, you guys are gone. You guys are gone on, like, a world tour for, like, the next year. So say goodbye as soon as that thing is over. So we're like, oh God. So it's calm before the storm now, but yeah, we're going to be all over the place as soon as we can.
Hang out with your family while you can, socially distanced, of course. So let's talk a little bit about the tour, man. You guys, holy crap. Like, so the first tour that you do is with the Used, which is fucking huge. I saw some of the crowds. You guys took a few pictures with the crowd and behind you, or like the stage shots with you guys on stage. Like you said, you guys have a crazy, wild live show. What were some standout moments, dude, from the tour? Because that's fucking epic.
Honestly, the first one that sticks out in my mind is getting the tour. The Used guys, actually, it was Bert, the singer of the Used, that actually was suggested we start over, we drop Rest Repose, and they were the ones that heard our initial demos for the music a year prior, and we did a small West Coast December winter tour, froze our asses off in kind of preparation, because we had these songs and we had to go and play them live. We'd never played them live.
Yeah.
So we did this warm-up tour, and getting the tour, which I would like to point out, we did not buy on. We did not pay money to be on that tour. They used
a source of pride.
They liked the music, and they asked us to support them. And we didn't know we were going to be the only support band on this tour, which is pretty unusual for a tour.
Yeah.
One support band. So we were direct support every night.
You're not playing at like 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock.
Nope. No. They were gracious enough to give us at least a 30-minute sound check every single night.
That's so awesome.
They did not have to do any of that stuff. Their crew were so gracious to us. So it was a big learning experience. Playing Ace of Spades in San Diego, where, like, you know, you see all these old posters of like Deftones shows and stuff, and like all these venues that we were playing, all the old places. The Gramercy Theater in New York is a legendary venue. That was an old theater, play theater in the 1920s. And, like, you know, these venues that I have personally just loved and have always wanted to play, I got to play. And having the family come down, there was no Seattle date, but playing down in Portland, having a bunch of the family, you know, we had, you know, the girlfriends and friends all came down, and we were able to get everybody in, and just
that's awesome.
It's nuts walking out there, man, and just having 2,000 people all of a sudden. Like by the third or fourth song, we would usually get them, and they were jumping up and down and singing along like a, you know, Chelsea or one of those songs.
Yeah. So you won some people over.
We did, yeah. There was a few nights where we did not win them over at all. But that's a testament to, like, how amazing the Used fans are. They are so dedicated to that band, and we admire that so much. So it was just such a thrill and such an amazing experience, and their whole crew are so pro. Unbelievable.
That's awesome, man. If we were in a different timeline and, like, I'm sure we would be going to concerts a lot and things like that, but you guys would probably be, where would you be? Europe right now? Would you guys be on the East Coast?
We would be in Europe.
And do you have those like in your schedule and you're seeing them every day? Like, son of a bitch.
Not anymore. I mean, no.
You have to delete them.
Yeah. That's the kind of thing. Like, you just lock up that Dropbox file or something. Like, I don't want to. Yeah. But we were gonna be, actually, I'm probably slightly off. I think we were gonna be in Europe like in like a month, but still, like, it's fine.
Yeah. Well, we'll get back to those things and in due time, and who knows what the timeline is. But you guys, being the fact that you have done home recording, you're doing that all the time with YouTube. That's kind of your thing, is you're all about gear and all of that. Have you been writing anything for New Dragged Under? Yeah.
There's lots of demos, and there's some new stuff that's been finished and done that people may hear at some point. But awesome. We're pretty busy behind the scenes.
That's cool.
And initially it was weird working remotely, but we would work just like you and I are talking now, and we just crank up our speakers, and then I can hear what you're working on, and you can hear what I'm working on.
Yeah.
Adapt and overcome is pretty much how we've always worked anyway. So.
You were just talking about just right now about doing these remote Zoom sessions and stuff, and something that I've noticed is these collaborations of obviously like 2 Minutes to Late Night, the Fever 333, Black Dahlia Murder, and members from other bands doing Faith No More, all kinds of other covers. Has there been any like YouTube videos, collaborations, covers, or live streams that have really kind of blown your mind that you've checked out? That Code Orange one was really, really mind-blowing at first at the beginning.
Code Orange one was good. The 2 Minutes to Midnight, I'm a huge fan of that show anyway.
Yeah.
But they are continually just killing it.
Yep.
Who did the latest one? It wasn't Gojira. It was
Suicide Silence has been killing it with their
it was Suicide Silence.
Yeah.
Oh, Trivium did the live.
Yep.
Like they're in a show. I love the creativity of the remote collabs.
Yeah.
I'm in 2 collabs that'll be out probably next week that are just crazy. Like, I'm just like, wait, how did I get into this? Like, this is what? Unbelievable. It's crazy.
I'm stoked to check it out. Obviously, Jared Dines doing some collaboration. He's got some really cool stuff going on. There's so much rad stuff going on, and like this weird necessity is breeding creativity in this like crazy way. I never did videos. I'm obviously way behind on the curve on that one, but I feel like there's all these little things that like you're ahead of in that space, but I feel like a lot of people are going to come out of this pandemic with a whole new skill set of things. Like, hey, I learned how to do, graphic design, or I learned how to do this. I read 20 books, or,
I'm taking guitar lessons.
Are you?
Yeah. Oh yeah. I want to be better. I'm learning theory. So I'm learning where the wheres and whys of guitar. And I'm learning from a guy named Ben Eller, who does a lot of stuff with like Whitechapel and bands like that. So yeah.
Awesome, man. So you're going to start a tech death band.
Yeah. I'm going to be in like a tech grindcore with a twist of French pop. It's going to be great.
Oh, great, man. Dude, that's awesome.
Great.
So let's talk a little bit about your history of music. So these weren't your first bands, dude. You're a band dude for life.
Dude, so
what's the first band you were ever in? Like, I'm talking junior high, elementary school. I want the name. I want a couple of the song titles, even if it's cringeworthy.
The first serious band I was in was called Subwave Rocket.
Okay.
And we played in Federal Way, Washington at Decatur High School. sophomore year, and we were named after a Mesa Boogie guitar amp. Nice. And we had songs, I think, called like "Life of a Fly" or something like that.
Okay, was it like pop punk or?
Kind of. It was like, okay, so our one guitarist was really into Built to Spill and Archers of Loaf.
Okay.
I was really into Bad Religion.
Okay.
And Good Riddance. So it was somewhere in between. It was like this weird, like we would switch gears and then do these really like indie. It was pretty bad.
Noodling.
Yeah, it was pretty bad. But that was the band like I first played shows with, and like drove to venues and got stiffed by the owner, and like all those things that happen when you're a kid. And yeah, it's a very long time ago.
Did you play Club Impact in Tacoma?
No, we played the Java Jump. That was the
nice.
Played the Java Jump, and I don't know if Club Impact was around back then. Club Impact was because I was playing shows. I started playing shows in about 1995.
Oh, okay. So Club Impact was probably around 98, 99, something like that.
Something like that, yeah. Just after that.
And then, okay, so what was the first, even before then, what was the first album you ever purchased with your own money?
Ooh, that's a great question. Nirvana's In Utero. Nice.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, I was a huge Nirvana fan, and I bought that right when it came out with my paper route money.
I remember sitting and waiting for Smells Like Teen Spirit music video to come on MTV, like just like hoping the next video was that, like,
right. You know, they really changed the world. And being around, you're from here, yeah? You grew up here.
Yeah.
I have friends ask me like, what was it like back then? I'm like, dude, you would look like my first show ever was KISW's Pain in the Grass.
Nice.
And it was Grunt Truck, 7 Year Bitch, and Rorschach Test.
Yes.
At the Mural Amphitheater for free.
Yeah.
That was my first show. And I remember just being blown away. And I thought, I want to do that for the rest of my life. Like, that's all I want to do.
That's rad, man. There's some of those videos actually on YouTube. I saw Forced Entry playing Pain in the Grass on YouTube. There's like clips of that. I'm like, dude.
Have you seen the Alice in Chains?
No.
Alice in Chains playing the Mural Amphitheater. They tagged it really weird, so it's kind of hard to find. They're playing Pain in the Grass in 1990.
That's
unsigned awesome. Alice in Chains.
Wow, that's cool, man. Let's bring it back. Socially distanced. Okay, so you buy that record. What gets you going to shows? What was the first concert you attended, like as a kid?
As a kid, like not the Grunt Truck.
First live. Oh yeah. So that was your first concert. Did you go to any concerts before that, like with your parents, like Aerosmith or at the Puyallup Fair or something?
No. The only thing I ever went to was a guy named Tim Noah.
Oh yes, I remember Tim Noah.
Who's like an Oscar Emmy award-winning children's songwriter.
I'm more of a Raffi guy.
All right. Well, we had. What was the album called? The Wow Wow Wibble Woggle Wazzy Woo Woo, I think it was called.
I don't know that one.
Yeah, it was a video. So it was a video and an album. He was like really one of the first multimedia artists, also from Seattle. And his guitar player was dating my mom's friend, and he got us tickets.
Wow.
To go to the Moore Theater to see Tim Noah. Super sold out show.
Wow.
This would have been 1986.
Okay. Yeah.
06. That was like the first live event I ever went to. But after that, I didn't see another one until Grunt Truck and 7 Year Bitch in 93.
Did you get in the mosh pit when you were a kid? Not for Tim Noah, but for the Pain in the Grass. Did you get in the pit, dude? Did you throw down?
I did go up there. This had to have been 94 because there's the YouTube video of 93. Okay. This was 94. Definitely 94. So I was in 8th grade. And yes, I did go just briefly. I was scared to death. And there was so much flannel and long hair.
Yep.
And there was a shirt cannon dude. And yeah, KSW was right there for everything. It was amazing.
I want a shirt cannon.
Dude, I'm sure it's kicking around the station somewhere.
Oh my god!
Giant.
I want a shirt cannon. I'm going to look up a shirt cannon on Amazon. So I'm curious about. So this is kind of okay. So humor me on this. So imagine you're having like a crap day, as some of us have these days. You're getting a lot of negativity from the news or whatever, like a negative feedback loop. What is an album that you can go back to time and time again that can just break you out of that mood, just be a positive force for you, maybe just an inspirational record or just good vibe record? What's something that you can go back to that'll just, get you in a good mood?
Lately, honestly, I've been using this album for that specific purpose, Bad Religion, Stranger Than Fiction.
Nice.
I bought that album brand new when it was out in 1995, not knowing who they were.
Yeah.
And I bought it at Kmart. I bought the tape and I wore it out, I think, several times. I bought multiple copies, but that's an album for me that really takes me back to just this snapshot in time of I had no responsibilities or anything, but I really, it was the first time I would listen to something and go, wow, they're right. Like, what are they talking about? Like, what the fuck? Because they deal with like some heavy stuff, 21st Century Digital Boy, Incomplete, and Infected, and all that stuff. So yeah, I have been listening to that on my record player quite a bit lately.
That's awesome, man. I actually listened to No Control today, which is an awesome record too. So let's talk a little bit about some Northwest bands. So you said that your first show was Grunt Truck. I know you grew up here in the Northwest. What are four, and I'm putting you on the spot, four Northwest bands that influenced you growing up?
Alice in Chains.
Okay.
Nirvana. I'm gonna say, I mean, obviously everyone's in the, Soundgarden, and like every grunge band is influential, but I'm gonna leave Alice in Chains and Nirvana as those bands. But for me, growing up, when I was cutting my teeth, there was this band called Formula One.
Oh yeah. Okay.
I believe the singer's name was why am I not remembering his name? He's in Nashville now, and he's still a singer-songwriter guy. But Formula One, and there was another band called Squelch that were huge influences and positive influences for me when I was like 17 years old. They're the ones that got my band into KGRG, and like got to play live on air. Yeah, and they were Lou from Formula One is in Nashville, but those guys were the first guys that I ever remember kind of even knowing. I didn't know them, but they wouldn't remember me. But those were the first guys that left town and like toured and stuff. Okay. So, yeah, very obscure. You can't find any. You can still find Formula One on YouTube, but Squelch, no way. Good luck.
Well, okay, so I wanted to ask you a little bit about YouTube. So obviously you're a YouTuber. What are your favorite personal YouTube channels?
I don't actually watch a lot of guitar stuff.
Okay.
I love things like Adam Savage's Tested. Adam Savage from the Mythbusters has a YouTube channel. I love Weird History. I love Cheddar. So it's like a Vox kind of a thing. Okay. He's very enclosed documentaries. I love Vox, BuzzFeed. Yep. I don't know. I think Engineering Guy is a narrator on NPR, and like I love sciencey, nerdy stuff, and I also love like welding, woodworking stuff, even though I don't do any of that stuff. But it satisfies the part of my brain that used to work on cars when I was a young man, and which is where the Guitar Gear thing comes from. I used to tear apart engines and work on cars for a living to raise my daughter in most of my 20s. And the Guitar Gear thing kind of feeds into that whole thing. I love how things work, and it's very, I don't know, it's a tactile thing, I guess, for me. Okay. But yeah, that's what I'm into.
How about ASMR?
No, that's weird.
So a weird thing about me is I don't listen to a ton of hip hop. I like hip hop, but as far as like YouTube videos, I often find when I'm at work, I just listen to YouTube like hip hop news because of how wild it tends to be and how interesting. Yeah. Like metal news is cool, but it doesn't like it half as crazy as hip hop news.
Agreed.
So I'm always finding out about the weird new Tekashi beefs and stuff. So yeah. Okay, so do you have any advice for anyone who wants to be a YouTuber?
Yeah, I would say do what you find interesting. There's been, I mean, the market is saturated with like guitar nerd guys. I started in 2011 and I was only doing it because it killed some extra time I had, and I was always that guy anyway. Like back in the 90s, my friends would ask me what the best distortion pedal was for $30, or
yeah,
it was always this guy. And everyone is passionate about something, and do that. And because the people want to see you passionate about whatever it is you're passionate about. So don't ever do it for views or money or any of that shit, because there's not a lot of money in it, but it can be used as a stepping stone and as a resume. It's a visual resume to get you other stuff and other jobs for sure. So just do whatever you genuinely think is awesome.
Well, that's something that I think is specifically with YouTube is people will know if you're faking it, and people like it when you're yourself. Like, you know, that's why people watch videos of people doing tutorials of makeup that might not be that interested in makeup, but they're like honest and like fucking real. And there's videos of people just doing these vlogs of things that you don't care about, but they're just so honest and upfront about everything. And, you know, they just do it because that's who they are.
Yeah. There's a guy in the UK, his channel's called Techmoan, and he only reviews and checks out old, outdated, no longer made tech. And I'm talking about like Laserdisc players or old tape decks.
Yeah.
On paper, it's the driest, most boring thing you've ever heard of in your life. He makes it so fucking interesting. Cool. You're just like, tell me more about the RCA 2-inch tape reel. Like, it's amazing. So just be passionate about it.
Yeah. Cool, man. Well, I'm just going to wrap this up here real quick. Pick a scar on your body and tell us the story of how you got it, and show everyone here the scar on your body, man. If you can.
Yeah, I know, right?
Break any rules.
I think, I don't know if you can actually, wait, hang on, I can't see my camera. There is a slight scar on my wrist. It's trying to focus on my, oh, you can kind of see it.
Okay. Yeah.
When I worked on cars, I did front end suspension stuff a lot, and I was taking apart the front end of an old 70s Mercedes.
Oh, okay.
And it had a control arm, and it had a spring. It had the suspension spring, and it had the shock that held everything together. But when I unbolted the arm to come out as an assembly, the shock was worn out, and I had no way of knowing. And the shock came apart, and the spring, the big coil spring, shot out. It got me there, got my leg, like it went, like things exploded. And like I thought I'd cut my wrist was like bleeding.
Jesus.
But it didn't cut anything like major, thank God. But it was damn close. But yeah, right there.
Wow. All right, man. Dude, brutal scar story. I just talked with the guitarist from this black metal band from Sweden called Nagelfar, and I asked him the same question, and he said that he has a scar from when the mother of his child stabbed him.
I have a stab scar too, but I can't show you where that is.
Okay. Yeah, he got stabbed by the mother of his child, and he said, yeah, he has a scar to remind him of that woman forever. I'm like, Jesus Christ, dude. Okay, black metal.
That is very metal.
Yes, exactly. So again, Fluff, Ryan, Bruce, Dragged Under. Is there anything you'd like to plug? Where can we follow you? Where can we, what's the best way to support the band right now?
Draggdunder.com, just ordering any merch or just listening to us. Just honestly, just pumping up the Spotify numbers. If you search Fluff on YouTube, you'll find me.
Yeah.
And I'm around. I'm around everywhere.
Right on, man. Thanks again.
Dude, thank you. I appreciate you.
Hell yeah. Hey, Fluff, can I take a